Hello, everyone. Hi, we're live. We're here, and we're back. We made it. We made it. We are back with some more Therosian Odyssey, Strands of Fate, episode 3. I can't believe that we're already at episode 3. Once again, I think this week we are just gonna kind of briefly go through everyone's names, but we will do proper plugging at the why did I say that? Plugs for our content at the end. Wow, this has set the tone for the session. Cool. How is everyone? How are we feeling? Excited? Excited. Thank you everyone who has already started coming in the chat and everything. We are so glad to have you here. And without further ado, let us begin. Oh yes, let me put some music on, because last episode I forgot about the music, and then I went and looked back and I went, the music! And I was so mad at myself. So let's go for...
If it helps at all, I just I was immersed enough that I didn't even notice.
I know, but I'm just a perfectionist. That's why it bugged me. So I was like, you know what would have really made it? The music. Anyway, it's fine. Cool. So our last session saw that some time had passed since the events at the Temple of Triumph in Akros. You have all moved on in your goals, and you spent a period of months mostly apart. We watched Kaliuka make the brave decision to follow her own path in life, aimlessly wandering the wilderness, until a brief conversation with Iroas got a victory, helped her regain her confidence and purpose in actions. She also gained a new, quite fluffy companion, which, as you can see, this is exceptionally excited about, as are we all. We saw Callista spend a period of time in hiding with the criminal underworld of Akros before moving on to follow her newest vision. Those same souls called to her and brought her to Setessa, but this time accompanied by a terrifying threat of 8-legged, shadowed terrors. Here she met a centaur oracle named Silverbrow, who was part of the ruling council of Setessa and had been dreaming of Callista's arrival. We also saw Onyx and Eva, both so different in their approaches to problems, form a rather unlikely pair of traveling companions. They both certainly formed a fearsome reputation as they tracked and pursued Dion of the Burning Spheres, only to find that he was perhaps not the cowardly murderer that Onyx had pictured him to be. Instead, he claimed to have had his memory tampered with, and that his band of fellow honourable mercenaries took the job of slaughtering a village of women unwittingly, disbanding afterwards in shame. All 4 of them met briefly within the city square as a procession of diplomatic delegates from Akros arrived. Within that delegation was our final heroine, Astrea, who continues to be mentored by her nemesis, General Cassian of House Laos. How strange that all 5 of you find yourself together once more. But even stranger are the things you learn afterwards. The disappearances that some of you have been investigating or hearing about here in Setessa are getting worse, and they have taken one of Onyx's mothers, Bianca. Darja, her wife, spoke of Bianca becoming more distant, having frequent nightmares, itching and picking at a strange rash, refusing to visit Nilia's sacred shrines, and covering the mirrors in the house. Until she disappeared, Darja had assumed all of this to be out of worry for your safety, Onyx. And we ended on something of a cliffhanger, as Eva picked out a diary from beneath a pillow within the bedroom and found a series of troubling entries leading up to this last one. I remember being told the tale of Arasta's tragedy as a child, and now I see clearly that just as Nilia has forsaken her, she has forsaken me. I pray every day, and still I am afflicted by this curse. If I follow the spiders, will I find a cure? And that is where we shall rejoin the scene. Astrea, you had just taken a sample of this silk, given it a little once over, given it a look. You know that it is some kind of magical spidery thread. Onyx, you have done everything you can to calm and foster peace within your mother's rather heightened emotions right now. And Eva, you just you just read something. I'm not sure how useful it will be. And I will let you pick up where we left off.
All right, so I'm just going to jump in right here with Eva and reading some things. So she's going to read the passage about the finger prick on the spinning wheel. And the first thing she's going to do, so she's going to still hold on to the book, and she's going to, you know, desperately look around to see if she can find this spinning wheel that was mentioned.
Yeah. Well, it's easy enough to see. From the doorway back in the room that kind of currently the others are sort of standing in, you can see in the corner there is this kind of spinning weaving wheel. It's been left kind of it's clearly not been used in a couple of weeks maybe, but it has been left there. There is a sort of unfinished project still attached to it, and there is thread still there. But it is back in the room with the others. You can see it just from the doorway where you are.
So then probably people in the other room will see a little black blur go ticka, 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 ticka across the room over to the wheel. And I'm going to investigate the prick where she said she pricked her finger on.
So you want to investigate the needle? Absolutely. Yep. Roll an investigation check for me.
Yeah, that's an 18.
And 18. Yeah, there is just on the very edge of the needle, you see a spot of dried blood. And it does seem to be blood.
Apple juice.
It's tomato juice. Ketchup. No.
Can I?
And it's dried. It's dried there, so it's not. Yeah.
Can I use my detect magic?
Absolutely.
So that is one of my first level spells. So I'm going to use my detect magic on it.
You will not find anything magical about it. You obviously get a kind of like read of quite a lot of the room. The jar that Astrea is currently holding is giving off some kind of magical, and you can see inside there is some kind of silky substance. And there is some various little magical trinkets kind of around the house. Nothing out of the ordinary about the entire loom. Or like spinning wheel or anything to do with that needle. The blood itself is not giving off any kind of magical energy at all.
Okay. She's just going to keep sort of investigating it for a little bit in case anyone else wants to do anything. I'll give them the chance to
may
jump
I ask
in.
The diary, when you came scurrying out, did you still have it in hand?
I still have it. Yeah, I still have it.
You just hear like Astrea's voice coming from the next room. Eva, please tell me that was you and not a little gremlin thief.
Did you hear that? Chicka, chicka, chicka. It seemed like Slim Shady, did it not?
Yes, if you guys look over, you will see a little bird kind of like hopping around this loom and kind of like investigating a needle with like, if you're looking close enough, she's got a diary kind of like tucked under her wing.
Eva, did you have that book when you came in?
Little croaking voice.
Is it from Onyx's mom?
Eva's going to stop what she's doing. She's kind of going to look under her arm, remember that she has it, and kind of pull it out, hold it to her chest a little bit, like, I don't know if you should see this. And then, you know, the better of her will get her, and she'll kind of hop over to Onyx, flip it open to a couple of like where the pages start to talk about this. And with like just a meek little face, she's going to hold it up to Onyx and share the secret.
So what I will say is this will, before we go into Onyx's reaction, this will have a visible reaction from Darja. You wait. Walked in. Yeah.
Are you Darja and went into the kitchen, so they're not even in the main room.
So I imagine it being like quite a large room, and there's like a small kitchen area, but it's not, it's still part of the main room. This is not like a, you know, like a house, like kind of like what our houses look like. It's like a big open space, and then there's like a bedroom separately. So you might have taken her off to kind of like the slightly quieter kitchen area, because around everywhere else there was just a lot of stuff going on. Gotcha. But it is still in the same room. And so yeah, you've kind of taken her, there's like a sort of kitchen stool in the corner, and you're kind of quietly in the corner with her, and then the others are kind of milling around, and a little bit further away. Even the kitchen cabinets are kind of lined all along the wall that will allow Estrella to have been relatively far away in kind of like in comparison, I guess. But yeah, this is not like a massive house. So yeah, the kitchen area is still within like a main room, as is the loom and kind of some chairs and a dining table. And then there's kind of like an archway that leads into the bedroom. If we want to get real technical, there's probably like an outhouse. And then there's the forge. And so yeah, your mother's, I guess, like money has quite a lot of it has gone into constructing like this extra building, this forge, making that really good, because that is like the meat of your of Darja's trade. And then there is kind of like this section of this main room where Bianca does her weaving, and yeah, that's kind of like your Etsy shop style, like buy my beautiful designs kind of thing. And that also kind of brings in some of the bacon. But yeah, so what I will say is, if you either are heading over to where Onyx is and kind of like thrusting this sort of like diary in her face, that is going to have a visible reaction from Darja. This is how you've gone into her bedroom, and this is her wife's private diary. So she will kind of she'll recognize it, but kind of ask you in a pretty accusatory tone, is that Bianca's diary? And she's looking pretty upset.
And I think Onyx is going to hold her hand out and give Iva a look like, yo, give me that.
Yeah. Iva's gonna like notice this and like look a little ashamed, but then she's gonna kind of be like, these secret shouldn't be kept, and she's gonna hand over the book.
Okay, I'm gonna just hand it to Darja.
Oh no. You know how your mother and I feel about privacy. And you would actually know this. This is a thing. It's kind of a cute part of their ritual. They discuss lots of things. Their communication as a couple is really great. But they allow each other to have a space where they record their private thoughts and feelings. And part of the vows, or like something that they really take seriously, is their vow to allow each other to have a level of privacy. And I guess yeah, so but you can see like from your mother is very conflicted about this, because she's obviously for the last couple of weeks had access to this book. She knows where it is, she knows where it's kept, she knows that it might hold some of the answers of her wife's disappearance. And she's been quite, it's clear from her expression, and you would definitely pick up on this, Eva, that this object, her initial reaction comes from that it is been a sort of conflict for her for the last couple of weeks, because she's made promises not to read this, not to delve into the thoughts of her wife, but at the same time it is the thing that could hold all the answers. And so this has been something that you can imagine she's picked it up and put it back down again and picked it up and not sure what to do with it.
So Eva, sort of seeing this, is just going to kind of like raise a little hand and be like, do you want me to keep secret?
Yes.
I keep?
I don't want to know about it, but if there's something in there that might help you, then
okay. Eva,
look,
so Eva's going to go over and like offer to take the book back and be like, I keep.
No, I think I'm gonna put it into my gear and
yes,
tuck
I
it.
give. Secret, I keep.
At this point, Callista's going to step up and say, the goddess has brought us all here together to solve this mystery. I think at this point, it would be more helpful for us to know what's going on, what might be in that journal. I think the goddess would understand. And I think Bianca would understand us looking into this journal if it helps us on our holy quest of finding out what has happened here.
I'm with Callista. We can't help if there's something important there and we don't know what it is.
Eva,
Calista,
look. Eva, no. Eva, say spider.
Calista, did you, by any chance, see either Bianca or say what it was, and Daja's faces maybe in your visions anytime, like maybe with us or maybe with Onyx?
I haven't seen their faces, but before we came here, I did cast an augury spell, and my goddess told me that this is what we're supposed to be doing. Solving this mystery is why we've been brought together. I don't know where it's going to lead us, but this is what we're supposed to be doing. And I feel like if there's something helpful in that journal, we need to know.
So, something that I will say, Callista, when Eva says spider, that part of the vision where you remember seeing that shadow, that 8-legged shadow coming up behind you and you turning and then waking up before you can see what it is, that very much was reminiscent of some kind of spider. And of course, Astrea as well, that silk is spider thread. So
yeah, so then Callista would definitely say, report that she has been having these visions of a large spider or something sinister up behind her right before she bolts awake. And so she thinks it's definitely connected.
That lines up with the spider silk that we've that Daja kept in the kitchen.
Is gonna nod vigorously.
Daja's
and then kind of like
say,
motion, and she's gonna hop back over to the loom and try and like point out the blood on the tip. So if anyone comes over, she's gonna be pointing it out. Then she's gonna point over to the spider silk, nod her head vigorously, and then
at this point, Daja's gonna see you trying to like tell but not tell, and she's gonna turn to you, Onyx, and she's gonna say, listen, I don't know your friends very well, but they seem to have got themselves stuck right into trying to help. So
yes,
I think what it might be best for me to do, and what might make things easier, is I'm going to go to my forge and do some work in there. Feel free to, I mean, you know where everything is. Be a good host. She'll look at you like, be a good host. And if you need me, or if any of you have more questions, that is where you'll find me. And she will kind of lean. And again, this is very undarja-like behavior, but she will just lean in and briefly give you a sort of kiss on the forehead, and then she will head out.
I think I'll like catch her right before she's leaving and just give her a big hug and then kind of walk her to the door.
Could I
She will
also,
sort of hug you back
before she walks away, just because I've spent a lot of time with my parents, could I give her an insight check to know whether the reason she's acting this odd way, is it only because she doesn't want to know what was written in the diary? Or does she seem like she's under the influence of anything, kind of to maybe misdirect us or something?
if there's something beyond kind of this like guilt or conflict. Roll insight for me.
That is a 13 total.
13. Doesn't seem to be anything really. I mean, there's a lot of mixed emotions going on right now. Mostly she still seems to be kind of in shock. And obviously it seems like she's had a period of time since her wife's disappearance where she's been kind of alone, and embedded in these thoughts, embedded in this thing. And then you have all just swarmed in at once. Onyx is back. It's a lot for her to process right now. You've all kind of come in and gone, right, well, let's solve the mystery. And she's kind of a bit like, what? So she's trying to process this kind of very overwhelmed feeling of, whoa, that's a lot of people. I mean, it's like a form of grief, right? That she's kind of going through right now. But also you can see that she is attempting to tamper down as she watches what seems to be very smart, intelligent people who know what they're doing. But Eva's walked in, she's found the answer straight away, and all of this. So she's kind of trying to dampen down a sense of hope, or trying not to get too caught up in this feeling of like, don't worry, we're going to solve it, everything's going to be fine. She's and even listening to Callista kind of going, we've all been brought together to help and to solve this. She's trying not to let herself get too caught up in that, afraid of disappointment. But I would say that you don't really see anything beyond like this kind of complex trying to deal with these very conflicting emotions. There doesn't seem to be any kind of odd beat to her tone or her body language or anything that you would think is out of place.
Got it. Yeah. And definitely no spider webs on her.
No spider webs seem to be. I'm not even going to make you roll. She doesn't seem to be covered in spider webs. She doesn't look at you and 8 eyes blink back. She seems fine. Just tired.
Can I do a weird thing?
I love weird things. So maybe.
Oh, that's terrifying. I'm going to take out the dagger I have on me. I'd like to cut off a small piece of the silk. And I would like to scrape off a chip of the blood and pop them in a bottle together just to keep them, together.
Yeah, I will. I mean, if you don't have vials like on you in your inventory, it's easy enough to go to a cupboard and just find there's like small pots and things in the kitchen and stuff. You could easily find something like that.
I will of course ask Onyx if I can steal one of her mom's vials.
I think Onyx just like quite know what to do with herself right now. She tucked the journal into her like top of her vest or whatever. And she kind of just internalized the message to like be a good host. So she starts making tea. And then if Estrella comes over, she kind of just absentmindedly gets into the cabinet and hands her an empty vial.
Okay, I will pop those two together in the vial. I'm also going to take the vial of silk that was initially handed to me. I just wanted to keep a sample of the two together just in case it gives anything. And is there anything weird or special about not only like the spindle, but the material, if there is still material on the spinning wheel?
No, not really. It just seems like normal thread. Nothing strange about it. She's just a weaver. Talented one as well. You can see just from like the half finished project, it seems to be an assortment of like patchwork squares.
Right.
And she's very talented in what she does.
In my investigation of the house from last session, did I notice that any mirrors were covered up?
Yeah, I believe that you rolled quite high in investigation. So I would say that yes, you would have seen kind of just in the bedroom area, you would have seen that there was a mirror just in there that has kind of like a cloth over it.
Can I go back in there and take and briefly take off the cloth?
Yes.
And just look.
It's a mirror.
I think at this point, Onyx like sees her and is like, stop.
Kaluka actually seeing Onyx's face and understanding how hard it could be to like have any family member in danger, she walks over and, you know, from her little coat, she takes out Caillou and tells her like, no headbutts. And she gives her to Onyx and says, I know this must be really hard for you, and I'm really sorry that we had to meet on such a terrible note, but I hope Caillou can maybe cheer you up a little bit. And don't worry, I look around here and everybody seems much smarter than I am. And I'm sure we can solve this.
I don't know why, but like I'm legit over here crying. I think I don't like, honestly, like it just kind of hit me, like I don't know why. I haven't taken my meds today yet. That's probably it. But I think Onyx, like, you maybe see her tearing up a little bit, and she like accepts the animal and kind of just slumps to the ground and cuddles it.
Estrella will stop. She'll put the cover back on the mirror. And she'll say, okay, I want to help you, so you're going to need to tell me what I can look at and investigate, because we have to start somewhere.
Maybe this silk sickness. We heard around town that a lot of people are being affected by it. So is there someone maybe in your team, as long as they don't come looking for us, but maybe they could help get us some clues? I think that
well, I mean, just to kind of, I guess, push maybe some options out there. Obviously, Dodger is in her forge if you wanted to ask her any more questions. Also, Callista, you know that Silverbrow, the centaur, is definitely very much she seemed to know about things. She seemed to think that you were here to help her with this particular problem, so would most likely be happy to answer any questions that you had regarding what's been going on, any that she could answer anyway.
Also, at the risk of a terrible pun on the channel in general, we could always ask the community cleric. I really didn't mean for that pun to be that awful, but like,
we can end the stream now. I'm not going to say that. Last time I made an ending the stream joke, and when I made an ending the stream joke last session, Sarah popped back up and was like, "What?" I need to stop making like we're ending now jokes, because that's not happening.
That's the whole campaign, guys.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, like literally that's what I said, and she was like, she just gave up and she was like, dude.
But yeah, honestly, like if there have been people, like if there's been people coming down with mysterious illnesses, then who better to ask than the hashtag community cleric?
And I think
there is also a place called that you would know, Onyx and Eva, called the Hall of Renewal, which is essentially the hospital of Setessa. So you imagine that sick people might have gone there.
I don't think that HIPAA exists in Theros, so you know it's.
Yeah, cool.
There's that, and then also I guess there is one more. I don't know if Lindsay might be about to say, but Eva, you might know of a place or two that you could get some information as well.
Well, Eva is gonna like seeing everyone. She's gonna kind of like, and as they're like trying to talk about where they can get more information, she's just gonna kind of like raise a single feather and just be like, Spider Vision's dark cave. Go.
Cave.
Dark
Where?
cave.
Do we know of any caves in the region? Or any having traveled coming here?
Yeah, do you know what? You've been around and like kind of traveled the forest, so I will allow it. You, Onyx and Eva living around here. Seeing as Callista and Estrella have never ever been to Setessa, I don't know that you would necessarily know anything, but I will allow the three of you to make a, shall we say, a history check?
Survival? Can it be survival? How about survival?
Could be. Okay, do you know
okay
what?
too.
I will allow history or survival, because survival you could have stumbled upon caves and things.
Yes. Is it in the forest? Do I get any benefit with my favored terrain?
I got a 22.
Yes, you can.
I'll just roll
roll with
survival.
advantage. You can roll with advantage.
All right, well, I forgot to turn that on, so I'm just going to roll twice. So my first one's a 17. And my second one is a 20.
Wow.
20, 22. What did you get, Kalika?
Oh, 1 sec. I have gotten an 18 total.
18. You all rolled really high. So you would all know that this forest is full to the brim of various caves. Yeah, there are quite a few in and around, sort of around Setessa, leading into the forest. Without more information, it's a good lead. Like it's definitely a good lead in terms of like knowing that perhaps there's something more to this cave to think about. But without more information, you would not necessarily know which cave to even begin looking. And going cave by cave will take weeks.
Have we had any like sort of inclination of while traveling, maybe, you know, you have like that danger sense that comes on, like I should not go in there? Or like maybe even I asked Onyx as well, like Onyx, around this area in these forests, are there any places where people go missing? Maybe.
Lots. Eva's just gonna pop in with a lot.
Well, I rolled a 22 on my survival. I don't know if that.
Maybe with spiders or the giant spiders, maybe. I don't know.
I will say that I mean, like the cave. All three of you would know that there's a lot of caves around the area. You would all know that some of them are probably dangerous and inhabited by dangerous creatures. Giant spiders in this forest are especially like within the forest outside of sort of Setessa's protection, are relatively common. They're not like, oh, they're everywhere, but there are definitely it's just like wandering the forest in the real world, right?
They're like bears.
Like you've got a whole forest and going up to someone and being like, oh, hey, do you know if any spiders live in this forest? And they'd be like, yeah, try everywhere. Like but like, could they pinpoint particular caves and things? Possibly not. It's more like one of those things where it's just like, oh, be careful when you go into caves. There might be creatures living in there, such as bears, wolves, giant spiders, kind of thing. It's not really like this particular cave is famed for its terrifying giant spider that lives there necessarily. So yeah, let's say that you don't know of any particular stories that seem to kind of ring any bell with like, oh yes, the spider cave, we should be looking at that. Yes, Australia.
1, spave. 2, is there any mythology or lore in Cetesian culture or just Theros as a whole about not only just, you know, not only just big spider go burr, but like a specific, like, you know, one spider to rule them all or some crap? Like,
I first of all, amazing reference. Love that. I'm so glad that
I mean, I legally have to, considering.
I would like you to roll a religion check for me.
All right. I also love the captions
rule them all.
say that my name is Austria, so that's great. Hello, it is I, Austria.
Austria.
Oh, that's absolutely terrible. 17.
17 is not terrible.
I know.
9.
I mean, God, it's so terrible. It's a 28. Like, okay. Yes, there is a famous myth that is associated with the goddess Nilia. It is not like a deity as such, but definitely would come under category one spider to rule them all territory. The tale of Arasta.
I'm gonna need a spelling for that.
Arasta.
I don't like how close that is to my name. Bad post.
Yeah. Yeah, like it kind of sounds like Estrella, but just the but it's not. Just that's an accident. But anyway, the tale of Arasta. Arasta was a dryad that served under Nilia, and was Nilia's like favored dryad, favorite champion, consort. The myths kind of vary in exactly Arasta's role, beyond that she was favored by Nilia, and the two of them had a very close bond and connection. Gal pals, some say very sisterly, others say more like lovers. Hopefully not both.
Hey, they're gods.
When did this turn to Game of Thrones?
We don't know. I could have thrown some Game of Thrones in there. We don't know. Anyway, they are close. But the envious god, Phoenix, who does not get on very well with Nilia, decided to take revenge for some slight. The two of them must have had some falling out. Perhaps Nilia overcame one of his champions or did something to foil his plans. Again, the myths kind of vary and exactly what happened. But ultimately, he took revenge by warping her beloved dryad Arasta into a monstrous spider. According to him, Nilia's interest in Arasta was due to her beauty rather than true kinship. And horrified by the unfamiliar creature, Nilia drove Arasta away and did not realize until it was too late what she had done. Arasta was said to be then very resentful of her treatment by the gods as a whole. She was resentful, became resentful towards Nilia. Her transformation also warped her mind, and the fact that she was driven away made her bitter and resentful towards Nilia. And of course, the other gods, she resented that ultimately, even when you are favored by a deity, you are still nothing more than a pawn to these powerful beings that watch over Theros in the way they do. And essentially, she is now said to make her home in a place within the Nessian wood, far, far away from Setessa.
The Nessian wood was the place where the lion ran, right?
The Nessian wood is, and Setessa is in the Nessian wood. It's kind of like towards the edge of it.
So the Nessian wood kind of separates Setessa and Akros.
Yeah, well, it's embedded in it. So Akros, and then there's like the plains of. Let me get this map up.
No, this could be solved if I just looked at the damn map, but
yeah, that's fine though.
Yeah.
I'll do it because I need to remind myself. Apologies.
There we go. Okay.
Apologies. Major apologies.
Nessian. Okay, so I see. Okay, so Akros is a little bit to the north of the Nessian wood.
Yeah, so basically what you have is Akros, and then there's like the plains where like a lot of centaurs live along those plains. The Ferries band centaurs and the Lagona band centaurs kind of run across those plains and live there. And then you kind of head in towards the Nessian wood. So Tessa is on sort of like the northeasty vibe of it. Then it becomes much deeper. So underneath where you can see it says like summer, winter, autumn nexus, underneath there, that is very thick, dangerous, sort of uncharted territory, really. In terms of like Setessa kind of takes care of and lives within, is embedded within like sort of the northern part of the Nessian wood, which is far less dangerous than the southern part. But yeah, deep sort of heading towards where it says the Despair Lands. That is where Arasta is said to reside. It is a mythical beast, and only powerful adventurers would potentially seek her out.
I will turn to the other four and I will say, have any of you heard or read the story of the Dryad Arasta?
Eva, that was a name mentioned in the diary.
Yep. Eva's gonna like perk up a little bit and sort of nod her head.
Eva, have you heard the story?
I'm assuming
you can all roll a religion check, all of you, just to.
Okay.
It's a pretty easy DC. It's a relatively well-known tale. Onyx, you don't need to roll. You would definitely know it. You are a champion in Nilia. You know all myths, most likely sort of dedicated to Nilia, but the others I got 15.
I got 15
you know.
Also.
Yeah, you would know it.
I got a 17.
17. All of you have heard of this this tale. It's a famous tale.
Eva's gonna add in mentioned in book.
Okay. I think that this may be either her doing or somebody with her. I don't remember what god told me the envious god's name was. I know it ends in axe.
Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Phenax.
Okay. I think this might have something to do with what Phoenix did and what she became. I have a feeling that if we head south, in my reading, I did see that the southern parts of the wood are a bit more concerning in terms of safety, but I think perhaps with the 5 of us, that may be a good place to start.
And Callista, who's been kind of standing on the outside of the circle of people kind of awkwardly, because she's really not used to speaking for herself. She's much more used to having the god speak through her. But she's like, well, I don't know. I know we were brought together. I can cast an augury spell to see if we should go to the south.
I think that's a good idea.
Okay, because I also could, I don't really want to, but I could go talk to the Oracle Silverbrow. I'm a little afraid she might try to turn me in to my temple. But I could speak to her if you want, but maybe let me cast this augury spell first if you guys have a couple minutes, because it'll take me a little while. I have to set up the ritual. But I could ask if going to the south is where we should be, we should go.
And listen, as far as Silverbrow goes, if she was going to turn you into anyone, she had plenty of opportunity before.
Oh,
We won't let her.
That's true. I'm just so new to being out on my own. I mean, I did get kind of good at picking pockets when I was in Akros after we saw each other the first time. Although Jericho usually would catch me.
Eva teach you how hide. Eva teach.
Picking pockets is not my preferred method of earning my keep, but it is something that I am decent at. I understand.
Okay, so I think
literally hashtag every single member of the party got a little bit of a rogue in them now. One way or another.
Rogue family. I was raised by rogues. It's fine.
Well, this is going on. Eva's just gonna look around to try and find like a little quill and paper. And if she can find
I have
one,
some. I will hand it to you.
Okay. She's gonna write a little note for Onyx's mom. So she's gonna write that down within the 10 minutes. The one who's still here.
Okay, Daja. D-A-J-A.
Yeah, Naja. So Eva's gonna write a quick little note, and then sort of head away over into the forge to go and see her. And if she'll accept it, she'll hand the little note with a little shiny button on it.
Oh, little shiny button.
Shinies.
You kind of get to the forge. The door is slightly open. You can see Daja is she has lit the fires, but she seems to have kind of just stopped at that point. She's taken down one of the weapons that she was clearly like about to start working on or attempt to start working on, and you can kind of see, I mean, your insight is really great. You can kind of see that the energy to try to motivate herself to do things is kind of gone again. She is sort of sat at her seat, just kind of, this weapon is on her lap and she's just kind of staring at it, not really.
Eva's gonna mimic the sound of knocking.
She kind of looks up, just oh it's you, hello, sorry, and then she just starts to like hang the sword back up.
Yeah, sort of with like a little paper held in her hand. Eva's gonna like ticka over, and then just kind of hand her the note with the little button on it.
Oh, I love Eva's little like sound effects. Yeah, she's kind of hanging this sword up, and she turns and she's like, oh hello. You move quickly. What's this?
Read. So she's just going to tell her to read, and then she's going to turn away and kind of click-a-clacka away.
Okay. She would read it.
So the note
she-
just, she's used her expert duplication to kind of write in the same hand as was written in the diary, and it just says, "We will bring your family home safe. Krufix finds what is lost. Be safe. Be loved. I'm sorry." But she's gone by now.
We got this. Peace.
Okay, that is both. It would be both extremely adorable and slightly unnerving to see her wife's hand writing just written here by you. She'd be like, identity fraud.
That's what I do.
I love it though. Yeah, absolutely. You
And there's going to be
would
like a
manage to do
heart
that.
drawn on it too, like very poorly drawn. She's not good at mimicking
Very
art.
poorly drawn. She would yeah, that would probably get her going, to be honest. So you leave Dodger a sobbing mess in the forge, and you make your way back to the party. And is anyone else, while Callista is sort of getting out her shards of stone, I kind of imagine it being like the stone version of like if you were to take loads of different quotes, like paper quotes from books, and like ripped up and then just throw them up in the air and pick one out, like it would be that, but like kind of with shards of stone and clay and things like that instead. And there are some scraps of sort of paper and things in there too, but that have been kind of mounted onto some kind of wood so that they have like a kind of thick sturdiness to them. Anyone else wanting to do anything while Callista is passing?
I'd say I'd probably be maybe looking out of the windows, just kind of doing like a check to see if anybody is watching us, or if I can feel like a sort of ominous presence maybe looking at us, because I keep thinking of Callista's words saying that we were meant to be together, and also a lot of people disappearing from here. So I'm kind of, I think because of my experience in the arena, I'm kind of skeptical about being pawns in a larger game. So I might not understand what the game is, but I don't like being played, you know?
Yeah. All right. Yeah, roll your perception check for me.
Okay. That is, oh, it's not too good. It's 11.
11. Yeah, no, do you know what? 11. Hey, 10 is average. I always try to remind people this. Everyone just thinks that unless you get above 15, like it ain't happening. 11 is pretty good. It's around average. You have a good scan of the outside area, and try to see if you can notice anything untoward or just something that seems out of place. There's definitely some kind of, you can feel in your heart that there is some kind of higher power interference. Like, it is too weird that you have all come together in this moment as you were before, but you can't quite put your finger on it, and that's kind of frustrating. However, looking around, you don't see anything that seems out of the ordinary. The trees are still, birds are kind of singing, the door is slightly open as Eva's kind of walking in, and you can hear kind of very peaceful outside. It's quiet, actually, most likely because of the Therosian delegation. Quite a lot of the crowd have probably amassed that way, but yeah, it's peaceful, quiet. There doesn't seem to be anything sinister or untoward. You kind of watching out for any kind of movement. You do see a small kind of spider making its web in the corner of the window, and it kind of like God, I don't know why I picked a spider story, because I'm terrified of spiders. It kind of like shoots its web and sort of starts to hang and then scuttles off.
Interesting. I think I'll go back to Astrea at this point. and ask her like, I was going to be like, so these webs, I saw a spider there, but maybe it's just, maybe it's just my mind playing tricks on me. Maybe I'm just overthinking this. But have you ever, you look like a learned person. Have you ever read anything about, this silk sickness, or how people could have gotten it, or why it's come? I know we've all heard of that story.
Have I read anything about a silk sickness, especially in connection to I got this Arasta, like any kind of like magical illness?
Like, is it like, I know the gods like to play tricks on us. Is it like maybe a curse or something that maybe one of them has placed?
I'm gonna get you to roll arcane.
Okay.
Can I give her bardic inspiration?
You can.
Thank you.
You can do that.
As Estrella rolls arcane, she's just kind of like, you can see her kind of just like mentally flipping through pages in her head.
I do love the idea of you just like, while you think on that, I'm just gonna play a little tune.
This is where you're
just like the bagpipes just blaring out.
It's like, what is your inspiration die?
It's 1d6.
D6? Okay. Hang tight.
You see, as you kind of like go through the notes in your head, like Caillou starts doing like this little like encouragement dance in front of you as like Kaluka plays like slow melody.
I'm gonna say something in complete jest just because of what Kat was saying earlier. God, that's only a 25.
I quit. Gosh, yeah, only a 25. That's not really much I can give you there. Okay, so specifically silk sickness, no. You have never ever heard of silk sickness. You've never heard of the symptoms that have been described. Eva, how much of have you shared any of what you've read in the diary? Has anyone kind of read the diary? I just want to know.
All Eva said was she mentioned this the silk sickness. That's all she didn't really mention much because she kind of got like foo-fooed to not talk.
Yeah. Well, and then she was given kind of permission if she wanted to, but it really would depend, I guess, on what Eva's interpretation of that would be.
She was busy writing a note. She hasn't really clued in.
No worries. You have never heard of silk sickness until today. You've never heard of that sort of cluster of symptoms that Daja was describing that Bianca kind of showed. But something what I will give you for a 25, it definitely speaks to the divine. There's just a lot of things that, especially the lack of magical kind of energy and evidence left behind more often than not when mortals, as it were, are responsible. They tend to leave like faint traces of their activities behind, because mortals are clumsy and kind of a little bit careless, whereas the divine just have the ability, the Theros deities have the ability to just wipe all existence of any fiddling or tampering away if they want to. So there definitely speaks to some kind of deity interference, or perhaps someone who is working on behalf of a deity is interfering in this, and this kind of like the fact that it's an illness, the sickness, I mean, that would be very much like a Theros mentality anyway. Unexplained things, it must be the gods. And you've had nothing that seems to evidence the contrary, because while you might be much more likely to look for something else beyond just, the gods must have done this, nothing seems to signify, actually it's not the gods, it's this currently. So definitely some kind of interference there.
You said there
yes,
was there was a small spider in here somewhere?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, there
Yeah.
by the window.
Yes. So is it like up high or is it like eye level?
So Calliope, I mean, you took your eyes off at Calliope. It was on the inside of the window, and it was just kind of scuttling down on side. So it was making a web, and you were watching that for a little bit, and then it kind of what do you call it when a spider like just hangs, right? Hangs from its web. Yeah,
Wings?
dangled down.
Dangles.
With with silk coming out of its butt, and then, and it such delicate language I use, and then it kind of landed on the windowsill, I guess, and it sort of scuttled off, and then you kind of turn. It's inside when you last saw it, but it would probably involve refinding it again if you wanted to.
Yep. So Eva is going to look for the spider.
I adore this image. Just
Like
this little.
She's gonna be like, just like bird. Her eyes are gonna glaze over, and she's just gonna go into bird finding bug mode, and she's gonna look for the spider.
I want you to roll a perception check for me.
Okay. 25.
Cool. Yeah. You it's only a 25 though.
Only a 25.
What is this, Pathfinder?
Kelly kind of gestures vaguely to the entire wall behind her, and it's like somewhere over there. And your eyes go there, and there it is. It is on the wall. It is scuttling, and it kind of scuttles across the floor. And with a perception check of 25, there is definitely purpose in its movements. You know how like spiders, they're really creepy and stuff, and they like just don't have purpose behind their movements. Like 1 minute they're just sitting still, and they can be like that for 2 hours, and then all of a sudden they're just like, oh, I'm gonna move over here now. If you're just like, that's unnerving. This one has a mission. It could be just to catch flies, but it's on its way to do something.
I'm gonna cast Speak with Animals.
Catch flies.
Fucking love it. Yes. You can't speak with animals, and that's an instant thing, right?
Yep. That's for my primal awareness. So I'm going to speak with animals, and Eva's suddenly going to be talking spider to it and mimicking spider to talk.
Oh, love that.
No, not the horrible chittering sound.
Little chittering noises, and she's just going to be like, hey, you, hey, stop, come here, I need to talk to you. She's going to be like talking in full sentences, but in spider.
I think this is the first time that Onyx looks up from the little fuzzy animal.
I want you to know, by the way, Lulu, that I have not forgotten that you are doing your ritual. That has not been forgotten. But I am going to address this real quick first. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I want to hear you speak spider.
Yeah, so luckily I learned the language of spiders just before I came into the session. So as you're kind of you instantly speak with animals. Hey you, I want to talk to you. And this little spider continues on its way, and it goes, can't stop, places to go.
Where are you going? And Eva's just going to follow after the spider as it's walking around doing its thing. She's just going to casually be like walking behind it.
To the web.
This web or bigger web?
Oh, big web.
Where's big web?
And it just continues, like it's still moving, like it has not stopped. It's like, and it's getting faster because it knows that you're following it, and that's like the natural reaction of any spider when you go up to it. It's like, oh, get away. So it's just like it's getting faster and faster, and like you are just all watching as the Benny Hill music starts playing, and Eva is running around chittering at this spider, and you're all watching except Callista, who is just focused intently on her deeply religious and very important ceremony. And it what day is it that you asked?
This web or bigger web? And she's going to point to
big web.
Big web? Do you know where all the spiders go? Do you know what happened? Spider here? Other spider, big spider.
Oh, big web.
Where big web?
Big web everywhere. And then it just keeps going. And it is heading towards the outside.
Can I follow? Keep safe?
Absolutely. Follow. Keep up.
Eva's
Eva,
gonna
where are
look
you going?
back at them and then like be kind of like, I'm gonna follow this bitch. And she's just gonna follow after it.
And you head outside with the spider. You want to name the spider?
His name is going to be Julio.
Julio the spider is on a mission to go find Big Web, and it scuttles outside, and you follow it with your very confused friends, new friends, looking at each other.
Just gone.
Callista, you finish up your ceremony. It takes a little while to kind of prepare these gorgeous shards, and you really focus and hone in on them. And what is the question that you are wanting to ask?
If we should go south looking for Arista's lair.
You get to the sort of end of the ceremony, and you throw these shards in the air, and they land. And as they do, they kind of land on this, like, you prepare this kind of cloth for them to land on softly. You pluck the first one that your mind kind of wants to. And written on it is a message that just says, in some ways they are right, but there are arguments to the contrary. And this, for the first time, as you kind of let out a deflated sigh at the real lack of answer that gives you, you are suddenly alone in this room. As you blink, you can hear the sound of the sea, and you realize you're awake, but you have been pulled into a vision. This has never happened to you before. And you hear that same whisper. You're halfway there. Think. Look up. And you find yourself drawn to the window. Your mic, I think, is just picking up the music a bit. You find yourself drawn to the window. You kind of gaze out of it, and you see that same seaweed rooting tree to tree, right at the very top. And you suddenly have this moment of clarity, of realization that when you had that vision before with the seaweed from place to place, and you went to the arena, the seaweed was replaced with bunting, and it was there. And it makes you ask the question, what is replacing the seaweed in the treetops this time? You blink, and you're back in the room as you head out the door to look out. Meanwhile, Eva, Julio the spider, as you step outside. He is heading towards a nearby tree. And he says, keep up, keep up, keep up. And you kind of follow him. And he starts to scuttle up the trunk of the tree. These trees tower above the buildings of Setessa. And you watch him, and you see up above, as do you, Callista, where that seaweed had been hung from tree to tree. Webs, spider webs, all along the trees, forming a trail of sorts. They hang from tree to tree and head towards the south of the city. And with that, we'll take a break. We will probably be back in about 15 minutes or so. And yeah, we will see where the spiders lead. Thank you all so much for keeping with us so far, and we'll see you in about 15 minutes. Bye! we're back. Did you miss us? We all have caffeinated ourselves. I have a cup of tea. I think people have coffee. Some people we're still pretending to be spiders. We've been sat here doing it the whole 15 minutes. We have food. I think we're kind of good to dive right back into it. So we just found that for those of you that are just tuning in now, my favorite Kenku Ranger followed an adorable little spider. I never thought I would ever describe a spider as adorable, but here we are. Named
It's one of those jumping spiders, like the adorable little jumping spiders.
Oh, no, there's like an advert or something that has an adorable spider, and it's supposed to try and fight arachnophobia, and I watched it, and then yeah, I thought it was cute, but I still think spiders are horrible. That nothing has changed for me, but there you go. Julio scuttled outside from sort of Darge's and Bianca's house out into the outside area and began to climb up a tree. Around the same time, Callista just finished up her ceremony in which she tried to kind of gain some answers as to whether going to find Arasta in the south is where they are supposed to go. And she was kind of given a little nudge from her deity above that she was along the right lines, but not quite there. And she too went outside to figure out, in her visions, she keeps seeing seaweed draped everywhere. And they normally transpire to be something that actually exists and is real. So she headed out to see what this seaweed could possibly be. And both her and Eva looked up towards the treetops to see webs, massive spider webs, hanging from tree to tree. And they seem to be forming a trail of sorts from tree to tree, heading towards the south of the city and beyond. And we will pick up from there.
All right, so Callista's now come out with me, right? So I can see her?
Yes.
Okay. So Eva's going to kind of click over to Callista and just kind of be like, hold me. And she's going to like launch herself at Callista.
Okay. So Callista will kind of awkwardly kind of catch her and like look up and point and say, yeah.
Hold on now. Hold on. We'll see if Callista will catch her. Let's not make these assumptions now, shall we? In the world of D&D, Callista will just catch her, just bolt her up. Okay.
I mean, look. What's the worst you can roll? A 25?
Yeah,
well, I don't know. Depends on what I'm
That's
rolling.
a fail. That's a critical fail.
It's gonna have to be. I'm gonna go with like an athletics check.
Oh, well, we'll see.
I imagine Toyota looking out
I
of the
rolled a
window
natural
and
one.
seeing,
Really?
Natural
Really?
1.
Oh, that's 2.
Man, that's worse than a
Like-
25.
Eva.
This is how I imagine rehearsals for the Dirty Dancing film were in the early stages of practicing that dance. No warning given. Eva, you catch me and you just launch yourself with full trust. There is not a question of a doubt in your mind that Callista is going to catch you and vault you up just as you intended. Callista, you are like a rabbit in headlights, and you just find your face smacked by the full force of a tiny, quite light Kenku bird, but it still hurt. And the both of you go tumbling onto the floor. Needless to say, with a nat 1, your attempts at some acrobatic maneuver did not succeed.
And Callista's like, I'm so sorry, Eva. I wasn't expecting that. I'm sorry. And
Estrella
in her
is
head,
going to
she's thinking
assume that something horrible and dangerous is outside, so she'll just like run outside and like look around.
well, from Callista's vantage point on the ground, she'll just kind of point up and say, "Look, spider webs. I think they're pointing us south."
Eva's just going to be, I guess, kind of like sitting on top of Callista in their piled mess. But she's not really going to pay any attention to that. And she's still going to be sort of half looking at the spider, and she's going to cast her beast sense.
Cast her beast sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. I need to, even though you told me that you were thinking of doing this, I need to remind myself exactly what that does.
In case Onyx and Kulika are still in the house, I'm gonna assume that Kulika was looking out the window, sees both of them walk out, sees this and goes like, "No!" with like a visible gasp, and then goes running to like Onyx and says, "I think the others have found something outside. Maybe we should go out."
Oh wait, I'll have to adjust
So-
what I do. I just saw that I have to touch the willing beast. So she would have jumped onto Callista thinking Callista would have vaulted her up into the tree. But this having happened, she's gonna just kind of look at Callista and shake her head a little bit and then go to the tree and use her her climbing ability, her roving, to climb up the tree after the spider to be able to try and touch it. And then if she does get to touch it, she's going to cast her beast sense.
So I'm gonna get you to do acrobatics, even though you have a climbing speed, because the spider is going at quite a considerable pace.
Okay.
So even with a climbing speed, it will involve you being a little bit like doing some parkour up the tree to kind of get there.
Yep. Let me just see if I have all my things that let me increase an ability if I need to. No, I don't think, because I don't have proficiency in it, so nothing allows me to boost that. So yeah, I will just use my, you said acrobatics?
I don't know what it is about like a bird jumping in a triton that's just hilarious. Like,
Can I use an inspiration to reroll that?
An inspiration?
Yeah.
And pray tell me where this inspiration is coming from.
Oh, do I not have any sitting?
You don't have any inspiration sitting?
Oh, okay. So then, no, I got an 8.
You got an 8. Your speak with animals is still up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna give you one last shot at this. All right. I want you to roll an animal handling check just to see how much Julio cares that you are not keeping up.
There. Yep. I got all my good rolls out earlier. It's just a 7.
Okay, Julio does not give a crap.
Yeah, that's fair.
So just keep up. You did not keep up.
Yep.
And he kind of scuttles off up the tree, and you can hear him distantly, keep up, keep up, keep up. And it just kind of melts into this really tiny and nothing voice.
Eva's just gonna give a little croaking, "Gods damn it."
In spider? Yeah, you all just hear this like chittering, but yeah, cool. So that didn't work, but you can see the webs, and you can kind of see where they are leading, and all of you, Eva, as you kind of descend the tree, looking very sort of a bit flat, your grand plan didn't quite work out.
My feathers askew.
Yeah, feathers askew. Callista is all on the floor, still trying to get up and dust herself off, and pretending that she's not as hurt as she is by you barreling into her. The rest of you kind of come outside looking a bit confused.
I think at this point, has stood up. She's handed the bunny corn back to Kumi, and I think she, as everybody else was filing out and like finally taking the cloud of chaos outside of the house, she kind of just takes a last look around, and I think she's gonna pick up the project that was on the loom, and kind of just wrap it up and tuck it into her pack, and maybe she like takes a last look back at the forge, but feels like she maybe just doesn't want to disturb Daja any more than she already has been, and will go outside, and as soon as she sees the pile of chaos babies on the ground, she's gonna just start lifting people up and plopping them on their feet.
For what it's worth as well, Caillou is just sort of hopping around agitatedly around this tree, just watching everyone kind of looking pretty joyful, actually, just watching everyone kind of fuck up basically, and is just enjoying the shit out of it.
Please tell me my familiar and Kalyuka's pet are just buddies now.
Your familiar's out?
Little Sparrow, yeah, always out.
Yeah, they're definitely together, and they're definitely having a little like moan. They're like, these humanoids, yeah, they are just useless. Like, they are just, look at this, she just barreled into her face. That's the kind of conversation they're having.
And I think at this point, Callista would try again to speak into Iva's mind, if it's possible, and just say, next time give me a heads up. You startled me.
You get that frustrating white noise. Eva has no idea that you have tried. There's no look of recognition or something that says that Eva has even registered that you have tried to
okay. So
communicate.
She'll just say it out loud to Eva this time. You know, next time, just give me a heads up. I'll do better. I wasn't expecting that, and in her mind she is just kind of like, yeah, and you still kind of creep me out. This is she's saying in her mind, you still kind of creep me out because she can't get a read on her, and that's still.
And that message gets through. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
I think I go over to Ava and like kind of help her out and say like, maybe next time you go to someone little stronger, and I'm gonna actually help her get up the tree and ask her like, are you chasing someone in tree? Mute. You're mute.
Kaluka's lifting me up.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Eva's gonna be like, she's gonna get lifted up, and then she's gonna brace herself, and then she's gonna be like, throw me.
Throw? Are you sure?
Throw.
Okay. I go flying over the
She's gonna get very sleek like a dart.
Hands on top of both of their heads and be like,
I was ready to go
this is what the entirety of this next hour and a half is going to be, isn't it? It's just multiple ways of Eva trying to get up the damn tree. Julio is long gone. She is like, I'm coming.
Julio's just like, see it, Chucklefucks.
All you hear is just in your head that annoying little keep up. It's gonna haunt you in your sleep.
Yeah, and she's like, I gotta keep up. I gotta throw me. Just throw me. Just do it.
Yeah, make a wisdom saving throw. No, just kidding.
What are you doing?
Am I? Just kidding.
Can I throw her up?
We're all going in that direction. What's the rush?
This bird wants to fly. I'm going to help her.
Eva's gonna clue in that there's other people around now, and she's just gonna be like, Spider says to follow.
Oh,
big web.
Estrella looks up and is like, I don't think we're gonna need to follow him.
I'm not able to hear you. Sorry.
What?
No, I can hear you.
Yeah, it's a little. No. I think couldn't hear Onyx's voice.
Oh, say Joan, say something.
No.
You're still pretty
sort of. It's a little crackly.
How about now?
A little better.
Yeah,
I'll see
that's a
that.
bit better. We'll keep an eye on it. If it continues to be like problematic, we'll let you know. Because it did
Okay.
cut out a little bit there.
All right, so I don't know if you heard it, but I said that I was going to put a hand on each of Kumi and Iva's heads and say, wait, and keep them from going anywhere. And then I'm going to do Radiant Soul.
Oh.
Oh.
2 luminous spectral wings sprout from your back temporarily. Until the transformation ends, you have a flying speed equal to your walking speed, and once on each of your turns, you can deal blah, 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 blah. I'm not using it for that. I'm using it I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to pick up Iva, and look at her and say, okay?
Okay.
And I'm basically just tell me where to go. And I'm going to start flying towards wherever she tells me
So
to
how
go.
long does it last, first of all?
Let's find out.
A minute?
Mistress, like, I don't think we need to follow the spider, and you're gone.
Okay. 1 minute. At the
1
very
minute.
least, I can
Okay.
pop her up into the tree.
Cool. Okay, so you grab... what do your wings look like?
They look like the wings that Iva would have if she could actually fly. Like a cross between raven wings and like massive angelic wings, but they're spectral, so they're like black but with purple
Are they blurple?
energy. They're actually
They
Durkle.
are blurple. Blurple,
They're Durkle.
Durkle wings.
Durkle. They're dark purple. They're
Durkle.
Blurple, Durkle.
They look almost like you can see twinkling starlight side of them, and like purpley. If you've seen Black Panther, the sort of the energy that comes off from their like kinetic like bursts kind of is like skittering along the edges of it, like it's a lightning, like a Tesla coil or something that is full of energy, and it's radiating off of the edges of the wings. And it's just gonna pick Iva up and fly straight up and at least get her to the level of the trees.
You can do that pretty easily, to be honest. In a minute, you'd be able to kind of fly her up to a certain point and fly her down. Do you want to just go kind of to the top of the tree?
I'm going to let her tell me where to go.
Okay, so as you fly up, I will say then that you're not dashing because you're like kind of a bit cautious, waiting to see if she's going to be like, stop, kind of thing. So if you went too fast, it would be, you'd miss it. We'll go for try number 4. Okay, for you to get to this spider. Roll a perception check to see if you can hear Julio asking you to keep up.
Okay.
Can I, like, just for effect, when they're flying up, take out my bagpipes and play it in the sort of Valhalla music and give Ava bardic inspiration?
You absolutely can. You give that bardic inspiration. We need all the help we can get there.
I'm also going to use
Calista be like, guidance!
I'm going to use my Kenku recall as well.
Okay. For perception?
Yep, for perception. I give myself advantage on a skill check you're proficient with before rolling the d20. So I'm now going to have advantage on this roll.
Advantage, and you've got the inspiration as well.
Yeah. What does the inspiration give me again?
D6. I think you roll is it D6? Your inspiration, you roll an extra D6 and add it on top of it, whatever you roll.
Okay. Well, let me just roll 1. So perception, rolled it. Well, I'm not going to need all that because I got a 25.
Okay. But let's get the final number.
Oh, okay. So 25.
We want the final number. Everyone put their all into this.
Plus a D6.
Plus a D6.
Plus 6. So 29 or 31.
30. Only 31 with
only 31 with advantage. And proficiency.
Just about. No, with a 31, Eva, your Kenku little beady little eyes, they miss nothing. And
My
as
black voids
Onyx
of
is
perception.
flying up in amongst this bark in green, this flash of like a sort of browny yellow, and you just hear this and you just stop like that. Here, this is it, and you found Julio, and you can grab onto a branch, if you like.
Yep.
Cool.
Eva's gonna launch herself out of Onyx's hands or however she's being held and like jump to go touch the damn spider.
Okay.
Toss.
I feel like I don't want to make you roll for that because this is going to go horribly wrong. So we'll just say, Eva is a little acrobat. Do you have proficiency with acrobatics?
I don't. I put it in everything else.
All right, you grab
Hold
onto
on.
this branch. It's not graceful, but I'll
I'm
let
accomplishing
you have
it.
because that perception check was freaking amazing. And you are now on this branch. Julio, for what it's worth, is coming from beneath you now because you kind of got a little bit ahead of him. He's like, keep up. Oh, you're here. Keep up. And he just continues on his way.
Eva's just gonna hold her hand out to him for a second to see if he'll climb on it so that she can touch him.
Yeah. Okay, so you want to be sense?
Yeah, and then I'm gonna cast Beast Sense.
Okay.
Because I want to sense what the spider is sensing that's making it go and where it's going.
I will say that you will just go and just give the spider a little boot. Cast Beast Sense. Cool. Yes. As you boot the spider, it just goes, ooh.
This is the cutest
rude,
fucking spider that ever existed.
just fully calls you out for consent, please. But you cast Beast Sense. Yes, reminding myself what that is.
For the duration of the spell, you can use your action to see through the beast's eyes and hear what it hears, and can continue to do so until your action to return to your normal senses. While perceiving through the beast's senses, you gain the benefit of any special senses possessed by that creature, though I'm blinded and deafened to my own surroundings.
Yeah, cool. So, are you immediately going into its view?
Yeah.
Cool. So you're blinded and deafened.
Yeah.
As you do that, Onyx, you're about to kind of you've dropped Eva off. You're about to kind of fly down, and then you see that Eva, her eyes just kind of come over like this glassy white, and she begins to slightly waver on this tree branch. She has for all intents and purposes gone blind, so you can grab her. What you perceive, Eva, is a very rushed spider. It is on its way, and it's now kind of crawled around the trunk and onto an outstretched branch, and is making its way onto a web, and is kind of balancing on it, and just with ease kind of making its way across it. In front of, as you can see, that is going to lead to another tree, and this web that it's kind of on is huge. And what you do also perceive in front of you actually is there is a number of other spiders on this web, and they all seem to be kind of going roughly in the same direction, or they're kind of sitting still or whatever. This web is a home to a lot of spiders, but when they are moving, they are heading south.
Because I'm seeing through their senses, am I hearing what's calling them, like where they're being called to? Because if they're all going and they're all moving, something's calling out to them. So that's what I'm trying to sense.
Interesting. So you can see, you can see through his eyes, And is it here? You can hear through their ears?
You perceive through the beast senses, so and if they have any special senses, I also have that.
Yeah, so that would be like to do with if they have like advantage on certain senses, or they have like blind sense, for example, which spiders, by the way, do. So you sense as you're as Julio kind of walks that no matter, even when it's not looking at it, it knows what's around it. It can perceive that there are spiders around it, even when it's not directly looking at them. Just through the kind of vibrations of the web and the vibrations of anything that it's looking for, within a sort of small range. In terms of like perceiving if anything is calling, these kind of vibrations that are coming through the web, they're what give the spider kind of a place to go, a sense of direction. And I think you're a survivalist. You kind of know about animals and the way that they hunt and things like that. So spiders, obviously, they create webs and then they wait for certain vibrations to tell them that there is something to catch in a certain area of the web. And there doesn't seem to be anything like specifically saying come this way, but it is almost as if you are sensing this need to catch prey, or to like something on this grand scheme of this huge kind of web is something big is south that is causing that kind of instinctual oh, I'm going that way to catch whatever that is. Yes, Estrella.
So,
oh boy,
Estrella's kind of like looking up at Eva while she's following the spider, and she's kind of like turns to Caliuga and Callista and is like, we should probably just follow them. I don't know if they're going to be coming back down. And then y'all see a look of absolute horror wash over her face for a moment, and she goes, "Oh no, Cassian." And she looks up and she's like, "Give me 5 minutes. I have to run and tell my boss I'm going to find a giant spider."
At the same time, I think Onyx is actually coming back down with Iva in her arms, because she can only do this for 1 minute. So
yes. So that's what I envisaged happening as well. And Eva is kind of like blind and deaf, very much not. You can see that there is no perception of what is happening around. She's kind of gone in.
So I think she like
seem...
Onyx like at first she was kind of holding her, like just grabbed her, and now she's gonna like carry her like a little kid, like a little toddler on her hip. Like, okay,
Eva's deaf and blind, but she can still like move her arms in that, right? I'm not like paralyzed.
Okay. Yeah, you can move around and you can feel. So you can feel. You're not like, you've not lost your sense of touch. You can feel that you are being held and descending. Like you can feel that rush of wind on your face as if you're going down. But you are just inside the spider's kind of.
He was going to take a second to sort of reach up and like feel Onyx's face a little bit to see who it is, and then give a thumbs up, and then point south.
Mm-hmm.
So she's going to stay in her beast sense because I have that for an hour, but she's going to point frantically south.
So, Estrella, you are wanting to go back to talk to Cassian?
Yes, I have to make a beeline back to inform him that I am, in fact, abandoning him to his formalities for a minute.
Right. So here's what I will say. You can. I will tell you that if you do, you know well enough, it's not just Cassian that you are answering to.
Yeah, it's what's his face.
It is Krios as well. And Cassian, you can probably duke it out, and essentially the conversation would end with, well, I only told you that I was doing this to be polite. I'm going to do it. You can't stop me. Goodbye. And he wouldn't really be able to do anything about it. the general, he will put his foot down, and it will reflect very badly on you if you ignore his commands.
Oh yeah, don't worry, I have a plan.
I could also, I think I'd also like let Astrea know and be like, maybe, I've been around authority, my father, and maybe it's not always the best to tell them you're going to go before you go, You could maybe send note with your little bird.
Oh, don't worry. Look, so my teacher, if you can call him that, he'll be fine. It's just the other one I have to worry about, and I have no intention of being seen by that one. So if y'all will give me about 10 minutes, I'm just going to go let him know that I'm leaving, and I'll be back.
All right, 10 minutes. Does anyone else want to do anything with their 10 minutes before we head?
I'd want to maybe so usually I think Kaluka would know also from having traveled a little bit that if there are webs left behind, that means it's like an empty nest, There won't be any spiders left behind in places with webs because they tend to eat their own webs and spin it again and blah blah blah. But I try to see how far this reach goes, how far these webs keep traveling on the tree line, and if any other maybe even if it's smaller animals are trapped anywhere in the branches, or if there's anything else trapped in it, why is it that these certain trees have been afflicted in this manner?
I guess roll a survival check.
Oh, that's a 5. Okay. I just look at it and I'm like, pretty webs.
Yeah, pretty webs. I think that, Kaluka might. I don't know that Kaluka would necessarily be an expert on spider behavior specifically. All you know really is you would be able to spot whether there was animals and things caught, and you might see odd bird or something that seems to have been caught in these webs. They seem to be quite strong and thick, so these webs have been worked really hard on. What I will give you is that it is clear that these webs are spun a little unnaturally.
Mm-hmm.
They are the work of many spiders, which is really odd in itself. And they definitely seem to go from tree to tree in some sort of trail or path, which is also not usual for spiders. Beyond that, you might not necessarily, or Kelly might not necessarily know about spiders eating their own webs and things like that.
Do the trees seem to be affected? Do the trees seem to be dying?
No. And it's one of those things that now that you're seeing it, it's so blatantly obvious that there's this trail of webs hanging above the city, but it just becomes very clear to all of you that no one would really think to look up in that way and really take note. But kind of the way that these disappearances were described to you, how did the question that would most likely have been burning on everyone's minds is, how have these people left and no one has noticed them gone? And it kind of feels like the way that these webs are formed, they kind of form almost like walkways and things. It is possible that a human, given the weight of the webs, the amount of spiders that are on them, and the way that the trees are not even slightly affected, they could walk along them with very little trouble. So I will give you that. It is potential that is something that would make you think, yeah, this could be how these people that have disappeared have left. Whether they've left of their own accord or whether they've been taken, either way, this is a good exit. All the Cetessan guards are looking around them, or they're on the battlements looking down. No one is really looking up.
Got it. Then Kaluka would just look at Onyx and Callista, and he first asked Onyx, Did you see any pathways maybe on the trees above? Maybe somewhere that humans could be walked or taken on. And then she looks at Callista and maybe do you have any visions of spiders taking people away? Or multiple spiders leading to what is it? Like a mother maybe, a bigger one.
I think Onyx says, I was focused on Iva. I didn't see anything.
I was just gonna be like, something big at end. Something big. Spiders go something big.
And Callista is really kind of looking a little panicked, seeing Estrella leave and hearing Kalioka talk. But she, as Estrella is leaving, she's like, I don't think we should separate. But seeing her leave, Estrella will hear in her head, hurry back, you're important. We need you. You're a part of this. And then she'll look to Kaluka and say, I don't know. I mean, I see these in my visions. I see these webs, these paths of webs leading somewhere, and seaweed. And I don't know why I'm seeing seaweed. I just know that it's I don't know. I've never had visions quite like these before. I'm not sure what they mean. I just know we have to follow them, and we all have to follow them. We all need to stay together. And she kind of looks to where Estrella has disappeared down the.
Callista is ever so slightly losing her damn mind. And what we'll do, we'll head to Estrella. If no one else has anything really other than kind of conversation or more kind of speculation on these webs, we'll head to Estrella, get Estrella kind of coming back to you, and then maybe head on to the path of these webs. So Estrella, you slip off. You hear this voice in your head of Callista sounding most put out by the fact that you're running off. But 10 minutes. What are you doing?
I'm sorry, I want to graduate. It's for a grade. I'm paying a lot of money for this.
You're not, but go on.
Whatever, scholarships or whatever. I don't know. Oh wait, does this like university operate on like a non-American system where like it's not actually bank breaking to go to college? Oh dang.
I mean that's a thing that's in a lot of places. But yeah, this university, they have scholarships of sort you are accepted in because of your supreme intellect.
Oh, that's
and smarts and wit.
So I'm gonna send my sparrow ahead to make sure that the path is clear from Sir Ram. And then the sparrow is gonna find me a spot where I can be within eyeshot of Cassian, but not what's his fuck.
Okay. Yeah, roll a perception check on the sparrow. This always goes so well. I know.
That's a 1.
Woo! I took everyone's perception earlier for my roll.
The sparrow seems to think right in the middle of that open square is the best spot. The sparrow doesn't seem to see any kind of the general nearby or anything like that, but you do see, or it does see Cassian. Just you can kind of see in this building, Cassian is in there, and he's got like a sort of glass that you presume is some kind of alcoholic beverage, and next to him is that same Cetessan 19 Phaedra. Phaedra is her name, I think.
Yep.
And she he's kind of talking, and he's got like his serious face on. So you know he's talking probably like politics, soldier fightery things, and all of that. And he's like talking about it, and he's getting very into his conversation.
I'm gonna make him
she just like lets out like this. It's so funny, and like he kind of make an insight check.
Oh my god, yes. 17.
he looks confused because what he just said was not a joke. So he doesn't really understand why she's laughing.
Watch him
he kind
he's
of
talking battle strategies, and she's like, "Oh my god, it's so funny!"
and
he's
she's like, "Yes, so funny.
"Are
That's
you
so funny."
insulting
And
me?
then he's like, "Thank you." And then he kind of like smiles a little bit, and takes another sip and looks around. And it is at that point that he would see your bird.
I'm gonna I'm going to stealthily get within 30 feet of him because I do not want what's his fuck seeing me. I will kind of
Roll
like
stealth.
Oh boy. Why did I use the S word? Oh shit! 22.
It's only a 22.
I know, sorry.
He sees your bird, he's looking around, doesn't seem to see you. But he is kind of like, he's excusing himself from the conversation, and he's looking around, and he just starts like, he looks in the most ridiculous places, to be honest. Like, he's looking behind people, he's looking on the tables, he's looking, it's really quite amusing watching him try to find you and failing miserably.
I'm gonna like mage hand, grab the top of his head and twist it to see me.
But like the hair?
Yep, literally just like
Well,
on the hair.
You meant the head, and I was like, "You're gonna break this guy's neck?" Like,
no,
yeah. As you tussle his hair, he's under a table, and he's like, "Ugh!" and bangs it on the table, and then he kind of like looks back, and he's like, and you can't really hear him because the bird is not inside, but you see him with that same venom that you're used to seeing. Where are you? As he continues to look around.
I'll hug his wine glass in the correct direction like a dowsing rod and like guide him over.
He will follow the wine glass. And at this point he's looking very flustered and a bit pissed off, to be honest, that he is being toyed with in this manner, but he will follow the wine glass.
Left. No, you're left. Other left.
And then he kind of goes towards where you are. And you're, where have you been?
Look, it's a long story. I have to go.
Excuse me?
Look, I know you're...
The two of you are like just tucked into this alcove, like...
It's like, look, I know your comprehension has never been the greatest, but I have to go. I have to leave. As in me. As in walk away.
No. Astraea,
You cover for me.
I'm in charge. I say when you go and when you stay. You've already been away for long enough. Everyone is wondering where you are. Come out right now and enjoy this
Cover
party.
for me. I have to go. Look, I found
where?
Look, I think there's a really salty spider lady out there trying to kill people. I don't have time. I don't have time to explain those four that were at the festival.
Oh yes, your friends that you invited, yes.
I didn't invite, they're lovely. I didn't invite them, okay? Look, I think this is bigger than just people disappearing. There are spiders, we have to follow them, and then we have to find the bit. I sound like a complete madman.
You do. You sound like you think you're special and blessed by the deities, but you are not. You are here because of me. Because of my father.
Some of us,
by the way, will be very angry with both of us, but particularly me if you go missing.
Look, tell him I was kidnapped. I don't care, but I have to go. Look, now all of us.
Kidnapped? Yes, I just lost my. And the two of you are like, you're like having this like really intense conversation, but like trying to like whisper, but it is like a massive bickering. Like you've not bickered with him at this level. Like the frustration in his eyes is so palpable. Where he's just like, you're full on arguing, but whispering it at the same time. He's just like, oh yes, I'll just tell her, but yeah, she's been kidnapped. What do I care about that? Of course, that wouldn't do anything to harm me.
Look, you'll be fine. Tell her. Look,
you're so self-absorbed.
Excuse me? I am not the one with some random aristocrat on my arm laughing at battle plans.
Oh, please, I beg of you, Astrea, please don't leave me with her again. She is driving me crazy.
Wow. So bad that you even asked me to stay, huh?
I don't know, just... She loves everything. I don't understand what's so funny.
Wait, really? You have no idea?
No.
Oh my god, she's into you, you absolute idiot.
What?
Like, obviously has terrible taste because ew. But look, she's into you. Go deal with it. Figure it out.
Thank you.
Look, I'm sorry, she has to.
Hey, you're really selling it to me here. Just keep insulting me. That will make me want to give you permission to go.
I don't need your permission. I'm going anyway. I'm telling you as a courtesy.
Oh. I'm sorry. Am I a dickhead? What gives you
I mean, yes.
the absolute audacity that you think that you get to just go and... How long do you think you will be?
I don't know. There are murder spiders. With beds.
Spiders do not sound important.
Hey, look, have you heard of Aresta, right? Aresta.
Half an hour. I don't want to listen to you babbling on any longer. Half an hour.
Tell you what, we'll make it 30, but we'll change those minutes to days, and then we'll talk.
You think you'll be gone for 30 days?
I don't know. Look, we're going to the South Woods. Yes, the creepy place. I know you're scared of them. I'm not scared of them.
I'm not scared of the South Woods.
I'm not scared of the South Woods.
You know I'm supposed to protect you. If you're going to do something dangerous, I should come with you.
And what is your uncle? No, not your uncle. Why do I think he's his uncle?
Alexander.
Yes. And what do you think Alexander's going to think of that if we both disappear? No, you are the important one in this political endeavor. I am the sparkle. So you go entertain your girlfriend. I'm going to go and save Stessa.
She's not my girlfriend. And... well, it sounds like you've already made up your mind and there's not a thing I can do about it.
Mm-hmm.
Your friends, they are capable?
Of course they're capable. More capable than your father's soldiers.
Do they know how to keep you safe, is what I'm asking.
You saw them in the arena. More capable than your father's
Well, I mean, they feel like they lacked finesse, but yes.
Okay, mister, I almost shat my pants when I looked at a lion.
I did not have that lion. I could have dealt with it by myself.
I know you're scared. I know your scared shitless look. You had that look. Look, I have to go. Cover for me. Good luck with your girlfriend.
Please stop calling her that.
Good luck with your lady friend. Look, if I come to a horrible, bloody, sticky death, I will have them send me back in a box, and you can tell your father it wasn't even your fault.
Well, I'm sure that will go down a treat. Fine, you have the rest of the evening. I will cover you for the rest of the evening, but if you miss tomorrow's meeting, I am not covering for you. That one is on
I'm
you.
gonna miss tomorrow's meeting. Bye.
He just kind of like is exasperated, but just stalks out, grabs a drink off a nearby tray and just downs it. You are a constant source of stress to this poor man.
They're clearly in love.
And we all ship it. We know we do. Yeah, you head back to the group unless you're doing anything else on the way.
I'm just gonna give his hair like a little muss with the mage hand before I leave.
Cool.
Because you
literally see him pretty much yell out as you hear him kind of yell out, "Get the fuck off me!" as but quite loudly, and the room kind of goes a bit silent, and then he just kind of looks around, and then it's like, damn guys, apologies, and then continues in this thing. Cool. You head back to the group. Callista, you're very relieved to see that Estrella joined you less than 10 minutes later. Yeah. What would you like to do? I take it either you are still in spider mode. Yep. It's gone a few trees now. Julio is on a mission. Julio is not stopping. Some of these other spiders, they stop for a rest. They don't know. They don't, they don't have Julio's stamina. And Julio is on his way. And you can feel that like pull, the vibration, very faint, but they are getting stronger as he makes his way south.
Yeah. So I'm gonna run that probably its course in case something else comes up, but I have an hour on that, so yeah. Eva's just gonna keep pointing in the direction that they need to go for the next hour.
All right. Cool. So I take it that you are all going to start following this trail of webs. All right. So,
I'm also just before that going to look at Astrid and like, you didn't tell them anything about us and the connection with the lion, right?
I just said I was going hunting for giant spiders.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I just had this weird feeling in my back, like, lions. I don't want to be associated with that lion. It did some really bad things. I heard it from other towns too.
Oh, I think the lion thing is, for the most part, most people have forgotten about that bit, or at least, if not forgotten, just.
You can definitely reassure Caliuca that everyone is not blaming the lions on you guys. Everyone is blaming the lion on Mogus, god of destruction, savagery, bloodlust, and Eros' pesky brother. I'd say pesky like he's not a god. He's quite a problematic.
Gods are pesky.
But this one is particularly like in your family that worships Eros so reverently and is so dedicated. Mogus is the lowest of the low. Like, your father will not even hear Mogus's name without spouting on a tirade of like lack of honor, like people that fight in Mogus's name are the scum of the earth, like that kind of you know who Mogus is, yeah. Okay.
Awesome. If I hear you say Mogus's name, you'll see me just take a second and like spit on the ground. Be like,
cool. So, you begin to follow this trail of webs, and they kind of lead you like winding through the city, and you do indeed see as you head out towards. It is. Let me get this map up real quick. Towards the south of the city. Yeah, there is a gate that kind of leads south out of the city. You really either there is nothing more to report on Julio's end other than continuous walking in sort of south, and it kind of like weaves off from tree to tree, so it kind of like southeast, southwest, but ultimately we seem to be heading in the direction of the south, into the more dangerous area of the woods. And then it does kind of veer off to southeast. And towards the river. And these trees are kind of like lined up against the riverbank. And it is towards the river, which you would know is because you live here, is the river, how do I pronounce it? We'll say Spurch. The river Spurch, Sperche. And it is quite a large river that kind of winds its way through the Nessian wood. And the trees kind of follow along there, so you can kind of hear this rushing of water beside you, and you kind of make your way towards that way. And soon you're leaving like a path, general path through the wood, and you kind of follow off onto onto a small trail that is off the beaten path. And you're walking after an hour, your beast sense ends. But you can still see these webs very high up in the trees above you. And another hour goes by, and another hour goes by, and you are walking. Did you want to take a short rest at any point during this walk? We are looking around now, kind of, let's see, you arrived kind of in the morning, didn't you? So you'd be looking at around sort of early afternoon as you're walking. So you are welcome if you want to stop for a short rest, or you can continue without one as a group, make a consensus.
For me, it's not going to make that much of a difference.
Same.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. I wasn't sure because some people have abilities that recharge on a short rest that they might have already used or anything like that. So I just wanted to check that no one wanted to do that while you're walking.
I just checked, but mine are both long rests. So.
Yeah, Callista definitely is trying to push the party forward.
Got it. Cool. So you keep heading down this trail off the beaten path.
I do want to keep an eye out for. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. I'm narrating, so you go first.
I do want to keep an eye out for any kind of tracks that look fresh, or any indication of even like bodies or passage as we're following this web.
In the web, do you mean? The bodies, you mean?
Both in the web and on the ground. Like tracks, bodies, anything that might, like point to someone has been here. Aside from just spiders.
Make a perception check.
Okay, let's see how this goes. Not well, 5.
5.
I'm still like mad at Cassie. I'm just like mumbling under my breath. Like,
mumbling under your breath. You start to like look around for these things, and then you see a cloud that is shaped like Cassian's face, and all you can think about is how much you want to punch it, and that consumes your thoughts for a good portion of the walk. However, you do find that the sort of natural grasses, dirt of the forest is suddenly replaced by wooden planks. You keep kind of walking on them. The sound of flowing water becomes louder and louder. And the trail opens up. So you now stand on the banks of the Spurch River. The wooden planked path extends out into the water. And you can see a few barrels. So this does kind of indicate some kind of human contact with this area. That lines the side, and they are stacked against a rock wall. So in the middle of this flowing river is this sort of rock formation that juts out and kind of extends as far as the eye can see. At the end of this impromptu pier is a rocky archway that leads into the rock face. You can also see across the water a couple of sort of thin corridors from which water is running out. And a small cove that also has a gap in the cliff face, though you cannot see within it. I am now going to change the map. Hopefully this works and Foundry doesn't have any kind of tantrum on
it was like, guys, I think we found something.
I might have done this stupidly. So, I was not supposed to start with that. Anyway, yeah, moving down, all the way down. Have you found your characters? They should be down in the south, sort of east. I did have it set to kind of be focused on a very specific area, and I don't think it did what I wanted it to, which is annoying. But anyway, you are down in the southeast of the map. Cool. And when you click on your characters, I just want to check that you should all have certain vision.
Yep.
So you should all only be able to see kind of from your various areas, and it should move along with the shadows and everything like that. Perfect. Kalyuka, you are the only one without any kind of dark vision. So you can literally only just see into this ultra dark entrance by this sort of rowboat. And then moving along, you can see on the in the southwest of the map, and there's like a sort of covey beach area. There's an entrance that kind of leads in that way as well. You would have to cross the water to get to that, but there is a boat nearby if you wanted to do that.
Do I find like a torch or something nearby that I could possibly light? I have a candle on me. But,
I was going to say, I'm sure that some of you probably have torches in your pack, no?
I
Would I notice?
Lights.
Right.
I think I'll like visibly tell everybody. It's very dark in here, isn't it? Like very oblivious to the fact that everybody else can see a lot more than I can.
Hang on, give me just a second, and I'll just Estrella will kind of wave her hand, and 4 little orbs of light will pop from her fingers and go to float around Kalyuka, just so that she can see a little bit around her.
What are you casting?
Dancing lights.
Dancing lights. Do they move, or do you have to physically move them?
I can move them as a bonus action up to 60 feet.
Oh.
Okay, so
What area
kind
of
of like
light do they give off?
They will give off dim light in a 10-foot radius, each of them. So if I really wanted to, I could kind of like just project like 40 feet forward for her if we wanted to.
Eva's gonna look very offended at the fact that there is currently light.
we could do, if you're gonna have them kind of floating around her head, we could, if I give her
maybe it could be like I think my vision would be 30 feet, so it could maybe extend to 40 if that works.
Eva's gonna look very, very offended.
Eva,
40 is gonna be quite a lot. I think if you have because one of the lights would give off like a 10-foot radius, right?
Yeah.
So let's just say that they're kind of floating around her head, and she has a 10-foot radius, so there is some vision there. What you do see, however, which I did fail to mention, is that as directly in front of you, as you light this up, there is a sort of torch sconce in the wall, and that could be lit, as it were. But I will give you a 10-foot radius of this dancing light, and then you can tell me at any point if you want that turned off. Okay?
Cool.
Yeah. So if you want, we can bring the torch just in case, because
maybe I could get the torch just so that you can push out the dancing lights if you need to.
That makes sense, and also just in case you get into any kind of scrap with any creatures in here. I could
also cast light.
Oh, what am I doing? I kill the dancing lights and just like fuck that.
Yeah, I'll just.
What do you want to cast? Because you can cast light on an object, so you could. Cast light
I was gonna cast it on her weapon.
Oh, cool. Awesome! On the morning star.
What is the radius of what is the radius of light? Is it 20 foot dim, 20 foot bright? I'm trying to remember.
Let me see.
Just getting worse and worse for Eva.
Sorry. Yes, 20-foot radius, bright in a 20-foot, and dim in a 20-foot. Okay. And it can be whatever color we want.
Yeah, bright for 20 feet. And then...
What? Yeah, it can be whatever color you want.
It's
so
purple.
What color would you like it to be?
I mean, actually, scratch that, it's Durkle.
Durkle. We're gonna so everything is just lit up in this really like that UV light. Oh gosh, that is offensive to the eye. It might actually make
Like the
Eva
inside of a
feel a
Spencer
little bit
Skips.
better though, because it's like very dark colored light.
Circle.
Let me just see if I can make this work.
Ooh, that is beautiful.
There we go. Does that look okay? You can see.
I
It
love
does.
that.
It
Holy
does. That's
beans.
beautiful.
Okay, so
Vibes.
that is emanating. Oh my goodness, that's such a far range. That is emanating from. And Eva's just like, I just want to.
No, she's gonna look like a deer in the headlights, and then she's gonna kind of jump into the water to get away from the light.
Oh my god.
Oh god, the chaos crew are here. Okay, you're jumping in.
Yeah, I have swimming.
Okay, you have a swim speed, so let's
Yeah.
put you there. You just kind of like swim over so that you're out of the range of this light.
Yeah.
Everyone, Eva's just jumped in. She's off.
Can I?
And she's gone. Like you can't see her. She's gone. Because I'm assuming you're all relying on dark vision.
So everyone can. They will have a disadvantage on perception checks. No, outside. Oh, outside here, it's still light. It's like mid to late afternoon. In the inside of this cave area, yeah, it's completely pitch black.
Okay.
As far as
And
you
while
can see.
everyone is trying to figure out the lighting situation and Eva's jumping into the water, Callista's just going to try to look around and see, do the webs seem to cross the river? Or are they looking like they're going into the cave?
You know, they do. That's a really good question. They do. They extend from this tree, down to the top. From what you can see of this rock formation, you can't see because it's quite high up. You can't see over the top of it, but they seem to kind of extend down onto the top of this rock formation, and you don't see them then going off anywhere else. So you seem to have arrived at your destination somewhat.
Well, then she's going to kind of look at the party and say, I think we're supposed to go in.
I think, regardless, this is going to give us more information because maybe people who are on this path stopped here, and maybe we can find something to do with what's going on. So I agree.
Okay, I will. Hold on. Just make sure I'm not on mute and everything. I have so many windows open. I will pull my sword just so that I have it in hand, and I will go first.
I will follow in the spirit of using my very long range dark vision.
Okay. Are you going? You're going into this kind of area here,
Yeah.
Eva. From where you are, you can obviously see that there's the entrance that they are kind of all heading in towards. There also seems to be where water is pouring out. I'll just move you out a little bit further so you can see. A couple of entrances in this direction. Can you see that? And then there is also this cove that also leads to an entrance. So there are 3 or 4 different ways into this area, but you see your companions are heading in towards this particular entrance.
So Eva's going to follow along, I guess, ahead of them to try and get there first. She kind of like floats a little like a duck and then just kicks her legs so she floats along.
Freaking love Eva so much. Okay, so you kind of make your way over here. You climb back up. So you wanted to get ahead of them?
Oh wait, they're going up over this way?
Yeah, they're going up over towards this entrance here.
Actually, no, then I'm not going to go back towards them. I'm going to go over towards where the water's spouting out here.
And you're going to go in this way?
I'm going to duck reconnaissance this. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Trap sense a thing in 5th edition?
Split the party. Cool. So you head over in this direction. the rest of you are moving up here. Onyx, you move to this corner here. You are standing right by where this sort of... Go on.
Do trap sense, or is that a thing in 5th edition?
So it would be like an investigation check,
okay.
Which you are welcome to do, to see if you can find any kind of traps or anything in this area.
And is there any kind of bonus that the rogue gets for that, or I'm...
No, it's one of the things that you can take proficiency in as a rogue, but beyond your modifier. Right. Or actually, what kind of rogue are you again?
I'm
trying to remember.
Inquisitive?
If you're specific. Yeah, I'm trying to remember if your specific class is something.
Rogue Inquisitive, y'all said?
Mm-hmm.
No, you get lies, but not
Yeah, yours is more about like insight, I think.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you know when people are lying and stuff.
Yeah. Worst case, I've got a solid investigation, so I can always take a look as well, but I don't think...
Okay, yeah. I will.
You can use a bonus action to make a perception check to spot a hidden creature or object, or to make an investigation check to uncover or decipher clues. If you're looking for like, I think it's more for like objects. I think you're looking for a specific object. But what I will do is kind of taking some of that. You got an eye for detail thing. I will allow you to roll investigation with advantage because you have an eye for detail.
I got a 16 on the first one.
That's pretty good.
Wow, it's going slow. Is that on that 20?
Hey, which is a total of
27.
Only 27, man.
Okay.
Only 27.
Only 27 though. Yeah, only 27, man. Okay, so you kind of cautiously make your way up into this corridor area. There's a sort of torch sconce, and that's something that you kind of look at because, you know, something like that might contain a trap, but it just seems to be a normal place in which you would place your torch. You then kind of peek around the corner, and you can see where this light kind of immediately stops. That is a door. It is just a simple wooden door. It is locked up with some kind of padlock. The padlock looks quite rusty, though.
I'll try to hit it with the pommel of my sword.
You want to just like straight up strength check it?
Yeah.
See if you can open it up that way. Cool. Make a strength check for me.
Strength, or do you want me to do like my athletic? I don't have proficiency, so it'd be the same. Rolling. Wow, it's going slow. 22.
Ooh.
22. Yeah, you break that lock immediately. Obviously, It makes a little bit of a sound. There's a sort of like crunching of the wood as it happens. But you do break that lock. Let me just unlock it. Are you opening the door?
Yeah.
Cool. And as you do, you can immediately see that it kind of heads into this corridor and heads off to the right. You'd be looking at it and it would be the right, but we'll say north. We'll use north, south, east, and west just for ease when looking at the map. Eva, you're swimming into... Which one are you swimming into?
I am going to swim into the first one that I'm in front of right now.
All right. Cool. And how far are you going in? You can, as you're kind of swimming in, you can see that there is a sort of corridor, and it branches off to the west and the east.
Yeah.
Straight ahead of you. Obviously, it's pitch. Well, actually, no. Here where you are, the light is shining in because it's kind of coming directly from behind you. But you cannot see really round any corners currently because of where the rock face is. But it's a very sharp left-right situation.
Yeah. So I'm going to be going up to look to the east, over towards where the rest of the group would be coming from. And I'm going to peek around that corner to see if I can like see them down there or see what's down that corridor towards them.
All right, yeah. So, and I take it you want to do this stealthily?
Yes.
Roll your stealth check for me, please.
Yep. 1 second, stealth. That is a nat 20, so 26.
Tragic. Pathetic.
All right. So you kind of come into this area. Let me just check that I'm looking at the right area.
And am I now in darkness?
You are now, so you're still kind of in the light where I've got you currently.
Okay.
But if you went off to the side, maybe to the side where they are.
Yeah.
Let's just kind of.
I will do to the best of my ability. I will always try to go into darkness so that my my umbrial, is it umbrial? Yeah, umbrial sight kicks in.
Umbrial sight. So you essentially you get forward and you just kind of dart to the right into the shadows. And sort of next to you on the left is this straight beam of sunlight that you can see that lights up the wall in front of you. Directly to your right, you just see a straight corridor, and you can vaguely hear the sound of some kind of wooden disturbance, like a scuffing, as if a door might have just been opened. Could be your fellow travelers kind of making their way inside. Equally to your left, you hear. Let me just get that for you. So the area to your left kind of contains large pipes, from which water is gushing out, so it's quite loud, and it kind of goes towards the two narrow corridors that lead to the river beyond. Light spills in, and this area feels a little bit less gloomy than you can imagine everywhere else is feeling. Cool. And what I will do is I will get everyone inside the area proper, and then we will end the session, okay? Because we are pretty much at the end of the session. So, okay, so I guess that the rest of you are kind of heading into this area.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. So let's have everyone. Onyx, I'm gonna just use you as the thing. You are immediately Onyx, you are immediately confronted with very little being within this area beyond sort of running water trickling around your feet. And it's quite shallow. It's kind of just around, like, barely even up to your ankles. And there's a large stone pillar in the middle that has 4 torches when you kind of walk around it, which I'll get you to do briefly. So around this area, can you see there's like a, oh goodness, that purple light is offensive. I just got you to go around the corner and it was so bright. Cool. And you can see that you would have a hard time seeing Eva, who is kind of in the complete darkness. And yeah, the party have made their way into this rather dark, dank cave, and we will pick up next week to see what it is you find. Cool. Let me just then, unless there's anything else anyone wanted to resolve before we end the session. No, we good?
All
Ready
good.
to explore a scary time?
Yes.
That light is so bad.
Excited to use Foundry next next session.
This honestly, by the way, this took me so much time, so I'm really hoping that it is all working because I haven't like fully tested it all the way through. But I'm like, please, I hope that this works.
It looks
So every single time that we
It
have
does look
Foundry
very cool.
Gremlins, I feel like my brain just like, God, I worked so hard on this. I'm gonna be fit through the mind. I really hope that it's not. But that's the wonders of technology for us. Cool. So I will go around. Let me look at the stream to see in what order we are all in. I think it's the usual order. But let me just check. Stream. I have too many tabs open, everyone. That is what I'm doing right now.
Same. I had to close.
Let's go from the right this time. So Lulu, I'm going to start with you. This is the moment where you plug anything that you want to plug. I can't say the word plug without smiling. That's a me problem though. That's not anyone else's problem. Yeah, go for it.
Oh, hi, I'm Lulu. I've been playing Callista. You can find me on Twitter mainly at LuluNWA, where I make some artwork with Dwarven Forge and minis, and I just got a really big order of Dwarven Forge. Although it's going to probably take me at least through the end of the year to get it all painted, but hopefully after that I will be having a lot more builds that I can make. So I'm really excited about that. But that's basically where I am. This is the only stream I'm doing. So
cool. We love it. We can't wait for our diorama to start. The minis have shipped. I can't wait for you guys to start. Yeah, I can't really.
Yep. So once they get here, then I just have to paint them.
Oh, we need to create some epic moments for Lulu to work on. Let's absolutely. I think the first one should be an intense battle of wits between Astrea and Cassian. Just the two of them. I'll make a Cassian
absolutely.
Just like shoved into like a little alcove, just.
And then we need like a Titanic scene where it's me holding Iva and she's like spreading her wings, but we're actually just trying to grab a spider.
And of course,
that would be perfect.
Of course, Kalyuka with a mop.
Kalyuka with a mop. Yes, these are
definitely
the kind
and bagpipes.
All right. Thank you so much, Lulu. Very excited about all of those things. Let's go with Lindsay next.
Hi, I'm Lindsay. I've been playing your resident bird. I'm always open if you want like a special guest into any of your games. You can reach out to me at my Twitter is Chunky Chickadee with only one E and a 1 at the end. Reach out to me. I would love to be special guest in other people's games, play some birds, have some fun times. I'm always down to sneak in and have fun.
Hooray. Who's next?
Next up, sorry, I just really just fully phased out for just a teeny second there. I was just looking at this layout like, oh, yeah, that looks really cool. Go for it, Kumi. You're next.
Hello, I'm Kumi. I'm playing the barbarian Kalyuka. You can find me at Kumi Curiosities on Twitter, Instagram, and also on a weekly Thursday night Indian time and mornings ET stream on the Pigeon Killers where we're playing Spelljammer. And oh my god, that's also another level of chaos over there. I'm playing like a plasmod, and did you know that when plasmods go to sleep, we just like flatten out on the ground? So that's been kind of fun to play. I just got myself a bucket for any time I need to take a long rest.
A bucket. I just love the idea of just
yeah, I'm making a mess of places, but yeah, that's me. And oh my god, I'm just so happy to be here, and like all my Caillou moments just makes me want to go and like grab my little kitten and give it a huge hug.
Cute. Let's go for Joan next.
I'm gonna also say check out the profile on Kumi on Women of D&D that was just out this week.
Yes.
I retweeted it. So if you go to my Twitter, which is at @a_wild_acfan, and you go through some of those tweets, you should be able to find that. It's also on the Women of D&D Twitter.
Love the segue.
Yeah.
That was good. That was good.
And I am also, if you are on that Twitter, you will see that I have just soft launched my Patreon. And you can also find me guest hosting on 3 Black Halflings. And I will hopefully be at PAX Unplugged this December, doing all kinds of panels and hijinks. And I am super available to be hired or casted or tossed into a tree to chase a spider for any of your TTRPG hijinks. So yeah, check me out. And I'm also very active on Discord. So if you're in the GRTW Discord or the 3 Black Halflings Discord, come chat.
Yay! Nice. Next up, Jen.
Hello, friends. I have no clever segue, so I'm just gonna say Durkle. Durkle.
We love it.
Oh, never gonna live
Jen
that
is
down.
our resident language expert here in the has been studying the language of Theros for quite some time.
Oh yeah. We have, Durkle, we have Certificate, all that stuff.
Certificate.
But hi guys, I'm Jen. I have been your friendly local Wiznerd. And by friendly, I mean friendly to everyone but Cassian, because
OTP.
He has to earn my respect. But
we love a little bit of sexual tension in the
a little. I can be found some Saturdays. I think we actually have a game this coming Saturday on twitch.tv/plothunters. You can watch me play a level 6, either 16 or 17, I don't remember. I don't know, somewhere in the high levels. Smacky Smack Monk, lovely time, A+. I do have a handful of games that are not streamed, so I won't bother plugging them, because if you can watch them, then I have concerns about privacy. Do invite me to your games. I swear I am just as bad as I am here. I can't even lie to you. But I am occasionally a decent player and an excellent note taker, as these guys found out last week.
Oh my goodness, yes.
But yeah, that's me. You can find me on Twitter at Jenverb. But other than that, I am a pretty boring person. Just invite me to your games.
I just love that it's read what I said as we love a little bit of sexual tension in the air in hello. Oh man, I love.
I do not believe for a second that you were a boring person.
No, me neither. Cool. So, all these amazing people that have said, please hire me for your games or get me in your games, you absolutely should. They are such a talented cast, and I'm honored to get to play with you all every week. It makes me very, very happy. I am Kat, the Law Mistress. I'm always flabbergasted when it's my turn in this, like I haven't spent the whole of your time preparing for it. You will find me at Twitter at lawmistress93. I blog and write, so do feel free to commission me with any of your writing needs. I also have been doing a lot more streaming, as you can see, and I'm also very interested in being in your games. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to DM. I love to play as well. Obviously right now, Mythic Odysseys, Girls Run These Worlds, that is my current focus and my current campaign. But yeah, please get in touch, or just if you want to chat. To be honest, I'd like to think I'm approachable, so please drop me a message. Cool. I think that we're going to be raiding out, if that is everything everyone wanted to share. We're going to be raiding, yes we are, Tavernaut, who, by the way, when we were having tech gremlins in the very first week, Tavernaut, oh, thank goodness for Tavernaut, okay? That's all I'm going to say. They are currently playing Starship Boogie, and anyone who watched Love in the Time of Mechas with Darcy GMing would have seen Gaskinator playing one of the characters, and they are also in the channel that we're going to be raiding. So you're going to get to see some Girls Run These Worlds alumni as well. So I hope I'm saying that right. Alumni. Anyway, cool. So we will raid out now.
Wow.
Thank you so much for watching. I sound like I'm smash that like button. And see you later. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.